Momentum is strong as the Amped Mobile AMA Supercross Lites riders make their way into the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Coming off of his first career victory, Josh Grant is flying high. But hot on his heels is Honda phenom Davi Millsaps, who will give everything he has to land on top of the podium next on Speed. The Amped Mobile Supercross Lites East Coast Series is in the Circle City, Indianapolis, a city whose reputation was built on speed. But this racetrack isn't made of bricks, just nasty whoops and big triples. It's round 3 from the RCA Dome. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside former Supercross Lites champion Denny Stevenson. So far this season on the East Coast Tour, 3 riders have come to the front and look to be the ones challenging for the title. One of those riders is Davi Millsaps, the Honda rider trying to be a back-to-back winner here in Indy.
Yeah, Davi Millsaps looks like to be the guy to beat. Last weekend, Josh Grant took advantage of Davi Millsaps' crash. Josh Hansen, on the other hand, he has a sore back. I don't know how he's going to do tonight. So the 2 guys I would keep an eye on, Josh Grant, Davi Millsaps, an excellent night of racing tonight in Indy.
Well, let's show you the point standings for the East Coast riders as they get set tonight for round 3 action. Millsaps 9 points out in front of Branden Jesseman. Chris Gosselaar has been a player in this as well with a strong performance early on in the opening round. He's now 13 back. There you see Josh Grant tied for 6th and Josh Hansen hoping to make his way up from 9th place. Now let's show you tonight's road to the main event and how you qualify for the big show tonight. 6 laps, 20 riders in each of our 2 heat races. Top 9 advancing straight to the main. You'll have one last chance to get into the main. 4 laps, 22 riders in our last chance qualifier, and the top 4 finishers there qualify for the 15-lap, 22-rider main event. Now let's introduce you to the 3rd member of our broadcast crew. Here's Chris Devoto standing by with last week's winner, Josh Grant.
Well, it was a big week for Josh Grant. He got his name on this, the all-time wins list for the Lites Supercross, and that's got to be big, I know, and I'm sure your week was crazy, but what about the rest of the season? Are you now a guy that can win week in and week out?
If I did it last week and I can do it again, so I mean, it takes a lot. Like I'm gonna have to be really consistent, and just worry about the main event and go from there.
What do you bring to the table that another rider doesn't? I mean, giving yourself a chance to brag about yourself. Go ahead.
Well, my motivation is my buddy James Marshall. That's in the hospital. I mean, I see him after every week I go and race, and he's the one that actually keeps me up in spirit, and I'm really thankful to have him. And I mean, I go to the line just thinking I do this for him, and I mean, it helps me out. I mean, I have fun doing it, and that's what it's all about.
All right, he's picking up right where he left off, this time in Indy, both practice sessions, 2nd quick.
All right, Krista, thanks. Earlier today, our Denny Stevenson had a chance to talk with Tucker Hibbert, one of the Yamaha riders, about tonight's racetrack in the RCA Dome.
We're here with Motoworld Yamaha's Tucker Hibbert. Tucker, take it around a lap here at Indy.
All right, here we go over the finish line jump. Pretty good little whipper finish line jump. So on into a high-speed flat corner there. It's really, really slippery tonight in that corner into a rhythm with a couple pretty big-sized triples. Here you can see the corners are getting pretty rutted and blown out on into a big triple. In this corner here, big bold turn before the whoop section, and we get a lot of speed into the whoops this week. So should see some good action through the whoops. Little double. This is kind of a tight little rhythm section. Just basically double through there. Into another little rhythm, into a triple. Not much run at this triple, so kind of hard to do in traffic when you're battling with guys. That section is pretty cool under the tunnel, tight little S corners. Into another corner. Here's the box. Fun little step on, step off into another rhythm. Some guys are tripling there today, getting really rutted there as well. So come around the corner, little off camber, wheel tap into the finish line, and that's a lap here at Indy.
Getting set now for heat number 1 with the Supercross Lites East Coast Series inside the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Let's show you our Dunlop starting list for heat 1. Stephane Roncada, we're expecting good things out of him, but a couple other names to really pay attention to here in this heat race, Denny. Branden Jesseman, 2nd in the points, and Josh Grant, last week's winner.
Yeah, definitely. Branden Jesseman making a comeback in the sport right now. Former Lites champion, Supercross champion, and He's had some good luck last couple weeks, and he's currently second in the points. But Josh Grant, wow, incredible race last weekend.
And a lot of momentum for the young rider. How do you think his week was?
I think it was incredible. You know, I think he dealt with little headaches with Davi Millsaps saying he rode a little too aggressive and stuff, but I know he's been working really hard with Ryan Hughes, and he's put in a hard week of training. He's ready to make it happen yet again tonight.
And there is Branden Jesseman, just 9 points back in second place in the standings, behind Millsaps, who will be coming up in heat number 2 in just a minute. Now, Tucker Hibbert, he's got our helmet cam, the MotoworldRacing.com PPG helmet cam. There's a look right there as you stare across the field to turn 1.
Tucker just competed the Winter X Games in the snowcross event. He rides snowmobiles also. A dual athlete making things happen tonight in the Supercross Lites.
Getting ready, you saw the 30-second board is up. It's sideways. 6 laps, 20 riders, top 9 going straight to the main. It's Kelly Smith on the 37 who gets the whole shot. Couple of riders down in the rhythm section.
Big crash right there. Wow, check it out. We're number 132.
Kyle Chisholm is in that, I believe.
Yep, Kyle Chisholm. He actually works a lot. 732 works a lot with Bubba Stewart, James Stewart down in Florida, but out front, Kelly Smith. Kelly's had some bad luck last couple weeks, went down last weekend in his heat race. This weekend out front just shows what a good start can get for you.
You saw the 121 in Jesseman in the mix. The 53 of Matt Gerke in there as well, Denny.
Yeah,
and
Matt.
There's a 24 of Grant, too, right there.
Last weekend, Matt Gerke was running top 3 on the podium, possibly, and up a career-high best 5th. Right on that Star Racing Lucas Oil's Yamaha. Right now, checking out Branden Jesseman trying to make something happen. Josh Grant, he kind of got pinched off on the start there. He's going to have to get some work here to get up here in the top 5.
This is a racetrack design that a lot of the riders were telling me today is pretty technical compared to what we've seen this season.
A lot of big jumps, big rhythm sections. Another tricky section of whoops as we see here. They're going to go left, single, double, double. You know, it's a big section, and like Indy in the past, this track will not break down.
Just into the early stages of Heat 1, and Kelly Smith leads it. Stay with us. Moving forward. Back to the action with Heat 1, Supercross Lites East Coast in the RCA Dome in the Circle City of Indianapolis. That's the battle for the lead. Kelly Smith and Chris Gosselaar. Gosselaar's such an interesting story, Dan, and we've talked about it before, how he was basically willing to do anything, including sweeping the floors, just to get an opportunity to ride this motorcycle.
Well, he's riding for one of the strongest teams out there, that Pro Circuit Kawasaki. He's working with Mitch Payton, and Mitch is a tough man to work for. He told Deuce, no matter what, I don't care if you're riding for free, I don't care. I want you on the box. And he felt some of that pressure. Round 1 came out, landed on top of the box in second at least, and making things happen again here this weekend. But check it out, Josh Grant putting his sights on. He's come to the back of the pack. He started this heat race about 7th, all the way up to 3rd.
Yeah, Grant is really coming on strong, and that's got to be some of that momentum carrying over from the win last week, and he's challenging for second.
Yeah, I mentioned in the opening of this heat race, he's been working with Ryan Hughes. Ryan known to work really hard, train really hard. He's his coach and trainer. You know, I think Josh Grant, the past, kind of just lived on his talent. This season, making a big change, stepping up, saying, hey, I got to figure it out and work on my body and get his endurance down. Last weekend, he showed he can run 15 laps wide open.
Well, if you're going to train with Ryan, one thing is for sure, you will be in shape when you're done. And it pays off there for Grant as he takes over second place. 1 to go. Top 9 transfer. Those are the riders with the green numbers going across the top of your screen. They hold the transfer spot. Stephane Roncada has the last one right now. Hamlin and everybody else behind him hoping to get another spot or two to move into a transfer position. So Sean Hamlin right now 1 spot out of a straight trip to the main.
Last weekend as well, and I think Josh had quite the speed of Davi Millsaps. He got the win because Davi ended up falling down, but this weekend, him and Davi Millsaps running almost identical lap times in practice, and the way he's come to the pack tonight, he's definitely going to be a guy who possibly get another win.
Well, and Denny, he might get a win in the heat race. He's all over Smith. Here they come. To the outside, trying to carry the speed around the corners. He's got him. Change for the lead on the last lap, and Josh Grant really feeling the momentum these days. is this kid on fire.
Man, it just shows what confidence does for you. He got out front, or didn't get out front, had to come through the pack. He knows his place is on top of the box. And for him to come from 7th place in this heat race, that was incredible.
There's our final transfer position right there. Stephane Roncada on the number 21, who told us earlier today, Denny, really starting to feel pretty good about the way things are coming around for him.
We're very excited to have Stephane back, and for him to get in the main event, a big step for himself and that Motoworld Yamaha team as well.
Josh Grant, the winner. Let's take you back and show you the hole shot that began this race.
You can see it's a long start straight here in Indianapolis into a tight left-hander. Kelly Smith right there, obviously center your screen, grabs the hole shot. Josh Grant's right next to him, but he messes up this rhythm section and goes from 2nd back into the pack. Obviously hits the first lap about 7th, but Kelly Smith grabbing that early hole shot.
Well, Josh Grant didn't stay back there for too long. As you see the pileup as they got to the end of that rhythm section. Grant fought his way back to take the lead.
Well, the fastest line all night's been inside, right where Kelly Smith is, but Kelly makes a little mistake. Josh is able to use momentum, goes right around the outside of him, and basically that's why you don't follow.
Let's show you the results here in heat number 1. Remember the top 9 transfer, and Roncada actually was 8th. Sean Hamblin got the last transfer spot. Krista?
Our winner last week, winner in the first heat race. Josh, you hunted him down. Was that your strategy all along?
Yeah, you know, the track was a little loose out there, and man, it was tough to get around these guys. There was a big crash, but you know, I kind of just kept my cool. I mean, I started to get a little sketchy at the very beginning, but then calmed it down, and you know, ended up catching those guys quicker than I thought.
He says a little sketchy. Will he be the one to beat? We will see.
So heat 2 now set to go here inside the RCA Dome. Supercross Lites East Coast Series getting set. And before we drop the gate, let's head downstairs to Chris Gosselaar for a Progressive Direct pre-race report.
Well, similar to the fireworks that start off each of these shows, Martin Davalos exploded onto the scene last week when in just his 2nd start, he scored his first podium. But after the race, the big talk wasn't so much about his quick start, but rather his high hair, an afro, if you will. He joked that he meant to get it cut, and he said he would before the next race. Well, we are happy to report that it's a much more aerodynamic Davalos this evening. Yes, he did get his hair cut. A little less, a little more aerodynamics under the helmet tonight.
Well, let's just hope, Chris, as we take a look at our Dunlop start list, that he didn't cut out anything that was some of his speed. Josh Hansen will be in this one, as is Davi Millsaps, and that's a big part of the battle in this series.
Yeah, definitely. Davi Millsaps showing he's the strongest guy. He's laid down the fastest lap times all 3 rounds, but a little mistake last week shows that he's vulnerable. He cannot fall down and come back and win. Josh Grant was able to capitalize on that victory. Tonight we'll see if Davi can stay mistake-free.
There's Davi right there.
He also mentioned to me today that he's been riding the 450 Honda quite a bit. He's preparing for that Supercross, which he's going to do as soon as the East Series heads west. But right now, focusing on that 250F Honda.
And there's Josh Hansen. I talked to him earlier today. He says the back is better today than it's been, and he still needs some help. Well, there's Martin Davalos. Would you have cut your hair if you'd had such a good run? Would you have changed anything?
No, I would have changed nothing. It was a great ride for Martin. He's been working really hard with those Millsaps camp this weekend tonight, looking to do the same.
It's Robert Canary out of the hole shot on the 54.
Well, those Motorsports Outlet Hondas just gotten things tuned in. 2 hole shots for both these guys. Kelly Smith in heat 1 and Robert Canary right now, but Josh Hansen again up front, trying to get out front. And we talked about it last week. When you're injured like he is, he's got a very bad back, big knot that develops. It almost numbs his arm. That starts pitching some nerves when the swelling starts coming around. A good way to kind of put that out of your mind is get out front and just race the track.
Well, guess who's running in 3rd? Big hair or not much big hair. Martin Davalos in the 577 sits right there in the hunt.
And where's Davi Millsaps, the guy who was just unable to start and yet again can't get a good start, is buried back in the pack about 7th.
Probably won't stay there. There he is, the 118 right there on the red Honda. The dark riding gear.
Got Matt Walker right in front of him. Matt Walker, another Georgia native guy, and he went down big time, but right now Davi Millsaps making quick work. The Yamaha Troy rider and moving up through the pack.
And up into 5th with that pass right there. But everybody chasing Hansen right now. Hansen, Davalos, Canary, Ripple, Walker. Well, actually, Millsaps then Walker after that pass having taken place.
That's Brad Ripple right in front of Davi Millsaps. Ripple racing the Arena Cross Series this season. Another one of the guys coming over from Arena Cross and taking it on here in Supercross.
Millsaps trying to run Ripple down right now as we're into the early stages of Heat 2. Stay with us. There's your new leader inside the RCA Dome. Martin Davalos has gotten around Josh Hansen. Let's show you how he did it.
Davalos has just gotten all kinds of momentum from last weekend. Gets on the box, he got that taste of success, and he's just getting it done right there. Josh Hansen makes a slight mistake. He goes the inside, rather does a single double, while Martin triples right past him. And this is a new rider. I mean, he looked good last weekend. This weekend, he's looking phenomenal.
Danny, when you get some momentum going like that, explain to those of us who have never done it how you feel different. What can you say about it? As Millsaps catches Hansen, we'll hold off on that just for a second. This is a fight for second. Give it to Davi Millsaps.
Well, you talk about momentum. Someone who doesn't have the momentum right now is Josh Hansen. He's fighting an injury. So right now, he's questions in his mind. You know, can I finish? How's my body feeling? He's worried about basically everything but the track itself. On the other hand, Martin Davalos, he gets a little taste of that success last weekend. The momentum builds. He's realized, you know what? I'm not a mid-pack guy. I need to be beating riders. And no matter what, when you're out there racing, you look in front of you, you start seeing jersey numbers. You see who's in front of you, you know who you need to beat. And right now, Martin Davalos knows that there's guys out there he needs to be beating, and these are the guys right here, Davi Millsaps and Josh Hansen.
Well, and Josh Hansen's beating himself up over it, Denny. And talking to him this morning, he told me I've been riding like a fool, which is a ridiculous statement because he's certainly no fool of a rider. He's certainly one of the fastest Supercross Lites riders on the planet. He's just an injured guy right now. Nothing you can do about it but heal yourself up.
And one thing about Josh Hansen, he's a cocky rider. He's got a lot of confidence in himself, and that's his benefit. That's his asset. But this weekend, he's beat up and not getting the job done like Martin Davalos just did.
That's right. He's the winner in heat number 2. Millsaps takes second. Hansen will settle for third, but he is going to the main event. The top 9 transfer. Martin Davalos. Well, what else can we say about this guy except wait for the main event? Maybe he's going to be a main event winner here tonight, but getting the final transfer spot will be Teddy Mayer on the number 93.
Teddy Mayer had a big crash in practice. Good to see Teddy back on the bike and putting himself in that main event.
Let's take a look at the whole shot replay to see how this one got underway.
Again, these guys coming into a tight left-hander into a rhythm section, similar to last weekend. Guys getting pitched off that inside line. But Robert Canary in that Motorsports MDK MSR Honda got the whole shot. Josh Hansen took over the lead for a little bit. And here, watch, Martin Davalos around the outside. He's going to triple right by that Red Bull KTM and takes the lead.
And the win. And here's a look at the results. And actually, Greg Schnell, now that scoring has caught up with us, shows that he will get the final transfer spot, but Mayer is going on to the main with 8. Krista.
The only thing I can think to say is this kid for real? This is unbelievable. You're back up here on the podium. You just won a heat race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited, you know. I got an awesome start. Josh made a mistake and I went in front and I was just riding my own race. I just want to thank all my sponsors, Lucas Oil, NCY Star Racing, Big Gun. Just my dad and my mom that brought me up here. I appreciate everybody, all the fans. Thank you very much.
Okay, and we have to talk about the hair. I know you want to give some love to your sponsor, Dunlop, but can we see? I mean, we talked about you got a haircut, and we were afraid that maybe that took away your speed. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Come on. You can show it to us, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was going to get a haircut before. My fro was huge, and, you know, my mom was telling me, just get a haircut. I got it, and, you know, that's for my mom.
Yeah, that's for mom, and the heat win is for himself.
All right. Well, tonight on Speed, join Dave Despain in the wind tunnel for scorching opinions, fired at fans and the biggest names in motorsports. Of course, Dave is always more than happy to fan the flames of controversy. Wind tunnel with Dave Despain tonight at 9 Eastern, exclusively on Speed. Well, if he just gets a haircut and he gets a heat win, maybe Martin Davalos will go shave his head before the main event. That might be good enough for a main event victory. Stay with us. We're coming back to Indy.
Friday. NASCAR has Georgia on its mind. Atlanta turns on the Southern charm for NASCAR's best.
Ow!
And with restrictor plates off, old school racing is back. From the first run for the pole.
Gotta nail that first lap.
To victory lane.
That baby's ready to pop.
Plus a Friday night barbecue, Southern.
Saturday morning at 10:30 Eastern, the American Law Series returns with the 12 Hours of Sebring. A star-studded field, including the biggest names in the ALMS, will race each other, the clock, and the demanding 4-mile Sebring International Raceway Circuit. Don't miss the 12 Hours of Sebring, Saturday morning at 10:30, live and exclusive, only on Speed. Right now, it's Supercross Lites East Coast Series inside the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. The last chance qualifier, final shot to make it straight into tonight's main event. Here's our Dunlop starting list, and these riders vying for those final couple of spots.
One of the riders in this is number 111 on that Red Bull KTM, Jay Marmont. Jay's had a rough go at things, got injured in the offseason, trying to come back and find himself way back in this last chance qualifier, trying to put in the main event, as well as Chad Johnson there, the National Arena Cross champion.
Here's Krista with another Progressive Direct pre-race report.
It's time for track talk. Where am I? I'm down in the first turn where the guys coming off the finish line jump. This has been a key section, especially in the heat races. It got real slippery. Guys come in so quick, they were losing the back end of their bike. The dirt got very slippery. We'll have to watch in the LCQ if that stands to fruition or if the guys will get a handle on the dirt, if it'll get a little more hard packed.
Well, let's go on board with Tucker. He's going to give us a view as you wait for the gate to drop. The MotoWorldRacing.com PPG helmet cam. Here we go. Watch the gate.
There you see his teammate, Tucker Herbert's teammate, Chad Johnson, just right in front of him. Jay Marmont also just going out there, colliding side by side. Perfect helmet cam. That's exactly what you see. You come in the first turn, you think you got an opening. The guy inside you comes from out of nowhere, pushes a little wide, and you find yourself back in the third.
Oh, Johnson with a big bobble, and Hibbert comes by.
Something Chad had to kind of deal with is he's in the National Arena Cross Series. He rides the 250 motorcycle, a 252-stroke Yamaha, and he is now having to ride the 250F 2-stroke. So he's kind of having to change things up, riding a different bike, and right now, kind of still learning the motorcycle, still figuring it out. He's got a new mechanic. He was working with Junior Jackson on his own team in Arena Cross, but getting things done. He stays where he's at, right behind right here, the helmet cam of Tucker Hibbert, to put himself in that main event.
Talking to Tucker earlier today, he was saying how it's easy for him to go from the motorcycle to the snowmobile, but very difficult to go the other way.
Well, that snowmobile, I went to the X Games this past time, and that's a 100 horsepower sled, over 400 pounds. You know, to jump from one to the other, either way, I would find it's pretty amazing. But I was pretty impressed with how those guys ride those sleds. They ride them just like a motocross bike. They're soaking up the double jumps, and Tucker Hibbert showing that he's able to cross over and find success in both worlds.
Holds down a transfer spot here, trying to chase down Jay Marmont. Marmont on the Red Bull KTM out front, and there's Johnson.
And right out of camera, right in front of the camera right there, Jay Marmont goes down. You hear the crowd scream, and just like that, Marmont is out of transfer spot. He's trying to get his bike out of the tough blocks we see right there. An unfortunate deal, and that's just part of Supercross. It's why it's such a difficult sport. Any moment, that bike can just go down and just dirt reaches up and grabs you almost. Like it's got an arm, and Jay's down, and he will not make the main event.
Tucker Hibbert probably will with 2 to go. He's got the lead. Show you what did happen to Jay Marmont. Let's go back to just moments ago.
See from the perfect helmet cam, these riders are doubling off and then tripling, and Jay just comes a little sideways, cases the jump, and just goes into the tough blocks. Just like that from first to sitting in the stands watching the main event.
Meanwhile, back here, the fight for the final transfer spot. Blows on the 177. Chris Blows has the position. Trying to catch him is a 270 of Nathan Skaggs. That's who he's fighting with. One of the riders in that mix.
Chris and his brother Michael blows, getting some of the arena cross as well, making a switch over here for Supercross. His brother Michael's had some good success. Both these guys have, but both of them find themselves as last chance qualifier, trying everything they can to get this main event. You can see about 5 guys right here all fighting for this final transfer spot. That's why you do not want to be in making this last chance qualifier.
Make the last couple of corners pretty crazy here with these guys. Battle for the win. Tucker Hibbert takes it with his teammate Johnson finishing right behind him. Here comes a fight for the final couple of transfer spots. Blows and Carey will get it on the 333. Getty Carey gets the last transfer spot out of Hobart, Indiana. So Hibbert, Johnson, Blows, and Carley get the transfer spots. And the local boy, Getty Carley, making it on into tonight's main event. So the field is set, and coming up next here on Speed's coverage of the Supercross Lites East Coast Series, the main event from Indy. Stay with us. Next Sunday, catch an all-new edition of NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, live from Atlanta. It's the only pre-race show that gives you the inside look at the big race. It's NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, next Sunday at 11 Eastern, only on Speed. Supercross Lites East Coast main event is ready to go. And Krista's got a Progressive Direct pre-race report for us.
I want to throw another name your way. Number 42, Thomas Hahn. He raced West Coast last year, was third in points, when after 4 races he broke his leg. Then, end of last year, blew out his knee. He just got back on a bike for the first time January 1st. So why is he one to watch? Well, today's practice, only 3 guys ran sub-54s. It's our last 2 winners, Josh Grant, Davi Millsaps, and yes, Thomas Hahn.
And Denny, he looked very loose as you take a look at the number 42 right there. Very loose on the warm-up lap. But I don't know if he can catch the guy with the new haircut, Martin Davalos. Here we go. The 24 taking the lead early on, Josh Grant.
And look at that, Davi Millsaps right there in tow in second. His best start we've seen all season long. And the stage is set between these 2 Honda riders. Last weekend, Josh Grant did some blocking a little bit on Davi Millsaps. Millsaps wasn't too happy about that. But right now, the 2 top riders, the fastest lap times, are out front, first and second.
It looked like Kelly Smith got the initial hole shot, but Grant took it away from him by the time they got through that first corner. And, you know, Denny, great news for Josh Grant that you got the early lead. Bad news is Millsaps got the best start he's had all season, so he doesn't have to make up as much ground as he usually has to.
This will be a learning process for Josh. Josh, you know, I think he was hoping to get out front and maybe hope Millsaps got out back a little bit or got a bad start, and then he can open up a gap. But he's feeling confident. We talked with his trainer, Ryan Hughes, between this heat race. Josh has got to pick up some of his lines, perhaps in the whoops. He's going to have a good battle here with Davi Millsaps, hoping for a 15 full laps.
Well, here come the whoops. Now let's watch. Oh, well, Ryan told him to get to the left, and he goes the other direction. To the left is where Millsaps went.
The main groove is down the middle, and Grant is choosing to jump to that, kind of jumping some of the dead spots there. And right now, Millsaps up the inside.
Great drive out of the corner by Davi Millsaps. He's out front. Oh, Grant has to kick it to the outside.
Riders side by side, using both lines. Millsaps and Grant. Grant not afraid to run up the inside of Millsaps. Millsaps will try and return the favor. You know, Grant feels like he belongs. Again, momentum and confidence. With that win last weekend, he knows he belongs up front. And right now, he's not afraid or intimidated by Davi Millsaps.
And adding to that was a great run in his heat race.
Yeah, coming from 7th in that heat race shows that he is feeling comfortable on that motorcycle. The Sobi Samsung Honda. Battle is factoring some Honda Nemesis. Davi Millsaps out front. Here's the whoops like you mentioned. Grant choosing to jump to him in that main groove. Millsaps choosing to blitz you across the tops, just the inside of it.
One of the other things that Ryan Hughes talked talked to Grant about was slowing himself down and trying not to make mistakes. How tough is that when you got a guy like Millsaps chasing you?
Well, I think last weekend Josh didn't feel he really belonged. You could see him looking around a lot. He was kind of blocking more so Millsaps, riding a very wide line. This weekend, he's focused on the track and he's focused on going forward right now. He's not looked back once and concerned himself with Davi Millsaps.
Let's take you back to our progressive direct hole shot and show you how this one began when the game dropped.
See the two Honda riders right in the center of your screen right there, Kelly Smith and Robert Canary. They're going to come to the inside. They're going to push each other wide. Millsaps, Grant, they're going to dive the inside, and Grant's going to grab the hole sides. Millsaps going to fall right up behind him and take over second.
Back to the action, and these two continue to battle, but look who's off. Martin Davalos. His night got off to such a good start, but it's coming to an unfortunate end.
Looks like he might have been a shift lever mechanic, was trying to down there messing with some stuff around where the shifter's at. Maybe caught a tough block, bent the shift lever. We saw that happen to Josh Hansen last weekend. Hansen was able to get the shifter changed, came in a lap later, but right now, Martin Davalos, our little wild card, just back, way back in the pack.
Maybe that haircut wasn't such a good idea after all. Nothing has changed up front in the last lap or so with these two. Millsaps just watching his line, do you think?
Millsaps is a smart rider. He's learning right now behind him, but I like the way Josh is riding. Josh is focused on the track, focused on going forward. He's not looking around. He's not swerving and trying to maybe hold off Millsaps. He's racing his own line and just hoping to get away. And he's currently holding the fastest lap time with a 51.6 compared to Millsaps' 52 flat. So Grant is holding the fastest lap time and showing that he's comfortable out front. And as long as he can keep Millsaps behind him, Millsaps need to make little mistakes here and there. You know, maybe Millsaps will go down like he did last week, or maybe Grant will just hold him off for these entire 15 laps.
Here's the fight for fourth place. Kelly Smith has it right now. Canary trying to get from him. Smith is on the 37, the first fight. Canary on the 54.
Canary currently in 8th in points with a 9th and an 8th over the past 2 weekends. Kelly Smith, on the other hand, has not scored any points and has had a rough season. Or actually, he's got 4 points, got a 17th at the opener. Right now trying to improve upon that and make a pass and get up on that podium.
Millsaps continues to chase while Tucker Hibbert gives us his view from our onboard camera. The MotoworldRacing.com PPG helmet cam on board the Yamaha rider in 7th place, chasing Josh Hansen, who's struggling here again tonight. Hansen in 6th place behind Canary.
Kind of ironic. We talked with Tucker Hibbert this morning, and he mentioned how he was up in a top 10 position. He was trying to actually lap Josh Hansen last weekend, and he didn't understand where he was at, didn't know for sure if Hansen was a lap down or not. Kind of pulled the trigger and tried something kind of risky on Hansen, ended up crashing, and now he finds himself once again behind Hansen, but this time it's for a position.
Josh Grant got his first AMA Supercross Lites career victory last week in Atlanta. Trying to get another one here this weekend, and Davi Millsaps trying to go back-to-back with wins here in Indy.
I think Josh has got Davi a little flustered right now. I think Millsaps thought he would just be able to get around Josh and break away. Josh has settled into a great pace, and Millsaps right now is currently unable to make some mistakes. He's dropped almost 2 seconds back.
The battle continues, closing in on the halfway point here in Indianapolis. Stay with us on the home of the Supercross Light Series. Speed right after this.
It's a technological revolution from the leader in 4-stroke technology. We increased horsepower without adding weight and added a unique dual exhaust system for perfect balance in the whoops and in the turns. The new Honda CRF 250R. Victory is almost a mathematical certainty.
Josh Grant looking for back-to-back wins on the East Coast Tour, leading here in Indianapolis.
You know, another thing that kind of fuels his fire right now is, you know, Davi Millsaps kind of called him out last week on the podium, as we've seen happen in Supercross class, when Chad Reed mentioned something derogatory to Ivan Tedesco. Millsaps kind of mentioned to Grant, you know, hey, if you're going to ride like that, you know, if you want to win like that, kind of swerving and riding aggressive, then, you know, I don't appreciate it. But Josh Grant's showing he doesn't need to ride like that to get a win. And right now, he's beat Davi Millsaps, the points leader, straight up.
Do you feel he rode too aggressive last week?
I think you ride however you can to get a main event win. You know, he didn't even do anything too aggressive. He rode a little bit of a wide line, and you know, he knew that Millsaps was a little faster last week, so he forced Millsaps into a mistake once Millsaps got the lead, and this weekend you can see it. He's a new rider, Grant is, right, very confident, very positive in his lines. Millsaps in her hand kind of got flustered, unable to make the pass, and now looks like he's almost settled into that second place spot.
Well, Millsaps would hang on to the points lead if he comes out of here with a second place finish. But Grant would certainly move up through the points as he came into the night in sixth, Krista.
Guys, Josh Grant obviously feels like he's been vindicated. He was an outdoors kind of guy. So last week's win with the first indoors win, he said the more he rides, the more comfortable he gets. But I want to talk about Martin Davalos. You see him back there in 21st. We talked about his shifter problem earlier in the race. He just pulled his bike back around with the mechanics again. The shifter is actually pointing backwards. It's almost inverted. He ran into that tough block. He's definitely having trouble with that shifter.
Some mechanical problems ending the great night of Martin Davalos. However, the 102 of Chris Gosselaar coming back up through the field. He's up to third. One of the fan favorites in the series.
Little goose, Chris Gosselaar currently third in the points. Got a second at the opener and a ninth last week, and after a crash, his dad, Mike, is Ricky Carmichael's mechanic. So, you know, it's a very popular goose family. They're used to racing, and right now his father, no doubt, getting ready for Ricky Carmichael to race that Supercross class and watching his son run in third.
Here's your race leader. Out in front, Josh Grant with 5 to go.
Grant opened up almost a 3-second lead, and Grant goes down.
Oh no! Josh Grant makes that little middle mistake, and here comes Millsaps.
A lapped rider went down in front of Grant. Josh clipped him maybe and just crashed. Went down with the lead. He settled in. Hard break.
So Millsaps takes over the lead now. And can Grant catch him?
He's been running a little bit faster laps than Millsaps. If he can settle down, get through this lap traffic and set aside some Millsaps, maybe a little roll reverse so he can come back and chase down Millsaps.
He's been about a half a second faster, Denny. Here's a look. Let's go back.
This is that tricky rhythm section off the start. He triples. He had to move his line because of yellow flags. He had to go far left. He just clipped the jump, went down, tossed to the front end. But he's able to pick up the motorcycle pretty quickly and regain the race. Didn't lose as much time as you would have thought after a big crash like that. And at the end of the lap, he's only 2 seconds down, 2.2, with only 4 laps remaining. You see Millsaps picked up on Grant's line through the whoops. Now jumping into that main line.
Gosselaar's got a ways to go to catch Grant. I'm not so sure he's going to pull that off. But about 2 seconds separate Grant and Millsaps right now. Sean was back-to-back winner here in Indy back in 95 and 96. He was the last to do it. Davi Millsaps might change that here tonight.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say I think that was it for Josh. A disappointing crash. Millsaps has settled into the lead. Good pace. Josh, on the other hand, he's trying everything he can. And by trying everything he can, I think he's starting to make some mistakes. Just like that, he's going to be settled back almost over a 3-second lead for Millsaps.
As we look at how that'll affect the points, Denny, Millsaps, of course, will extend his lead, and Branden Jesseman is chasing him. He's running in 7th tonight, so he's going to lose even more points and drop in the standings.
Yeah, right now, this is Millsaps' championship to lose. He's been the only guy consistently up on the box. Josh made that mistake in the opening round, lost a lot of points right off the bat. Tonight was hoping to capitalize, pick up some more points, but a simple mistake. Just some lap traffic went down, just shows again how difficult Supercross is and how quickly things can change.
Millsaps, Grant, Gosselaar, Smith, Canary, the top 5. Hansen, Jesseman, Hibbert, Hahn, and Schnell rounding out the top 10. Here's Hansen. The back still not where it needs to be for this very talented rider to compete at the level he's expected to and expects himself to run out. There's Jesseman right behind him on the 121. In 7th, the man who came into the night, second of the points. Probably won't be there when the night is over.
Now Jesseman will probably lose that second spot to possibly Chris Gosselaar, who's up in 3rd. But a disappointing just couple races for Josh Hansen. He crashed in practice. It was actually, that was part of his problem at the opening round. His back just tightens up, gets a big knot in the base of his back, and it just starts making his arms even go a little tingly and numb. And he's doing lots of therapy, working with his trainer, John Louch, just doing the best he can to tough it out right now, that Red Bull KTM. But you can see Branden Jesseman starting to close that ground.
Last lap here in Indy. Honda's last win here in Indianapolis was back in 2000. Davi Millsaps looks to change that here tonight.
For the second week in a row, I believe Ralph, the fastest guy is not going to win. I think last weekend Davey was faster than Josh. He made the mistake and Josh got the win. Tonight, Grant had settled into a good lead. I think he was the faster guy. He had settled into a good pace. Millsaps was making mistakes. A simple crash for Josh. And now Millsaps is going to get the win. Tables turn each and every lap, each and every race.
Davi Millsaps on the number 118, the series points leader, taking the win here on the American Honda Motors Company entry in Indianapolis and extending his points lead. Battle to the line coming here in the fight for 6th. Josh Hansen on the 100 out in front. Jesseman trying to close in to see if he can salvage a few more points. Runs it deep and lost some ground there.
They went wide, trying to get outside that rut, trying to change up things. The best thing about not following is if the guy makes a mistake, you won't get caught up in it. I believe Josh Hansen's going to hold on for that 6th position.
And he does. So Davi Millsaps takes the win. But it kind of got handed to him after a bit of a mistake was made by Josh Grant. A costly one at that. Let's take you back and show you what happened to the 24.
See him double in. He's on the far right of the track. As he's airborne, he's having to readjust because of yellow flags. He had to go far over the left line where he hadn't been before. Just clipped it and down he went.
We'll talk to the winner, Davi Millsaps, a back-to-back winner here in Indianapolis. Right after this, on the home of the Supercross Lites, Speed. Here's how they came across the finish line jump. It was Honda with a 1-2. Davi Millsaps and Josh Grant. Chris Gosselaar breaking up the Honda top 5 on his Kawasaki. Krista?
Down here with our winner, Davi Millsaps. And Davey, last week you had the trouble, this week Josh had the trouble. If he hadn't faltered, would you have still been able to catch him?
I don't know, Josh was riding really good, and, I was just trying to play the game smart. He hit me a lot last week. Not really hit me, but just really aggressive last week, so I was just trying to keep my cool, and, he wasn't making a lot of mistakes, but he was making a couple big ones, and, I figured I'd wait, and then once he made one, I'd be right there again, and go after it, but, unfortunately he went down. I was hoping for a better race, and, I'm just happy.
This Georgia Peach sure loves the Midwest. This is his second win in Indy back-to-back.
Well, let's show you the AMA point standings for the Supercross Lites East Coast Series, almost to the halfway point. Millsaps 18 now in front of Gosselaar. Jesseman only slips one position, and he's now 20 points back. And Grant climbs up into the standings. He's into 4th, 25 back. Krista?
With our second place winner, Josh Grant. And Josh, I know you were looking at that win, you were tasting that win, and you had that trouble. What happened?
I came into this rhythm section right here, and Kelly Smith or someone went down right in front of me and turned at the last second and couldn't quite clear the triple. Case it went over the bars, but luckily I got up and recovered quick enough to, finish up here. But I couldn't have done it without my sponsors, Sobe, Samsung Mobile, Honda, Amsoil, Rockford Fosgate, Napster, all those guys for helping me out. It's fun, and just bummed out.
He's bummed, but he's happy to be on the podium.
Well, and he did climb up some in the points. He might feel a little bit better when he sees that. Well, let's take you now to our Buku Big Air replay. And it's Davi Millsaps, back-to-back Indy winner, 2 years in a row for the points leader. Well, Chris Gosselaar ends up taking 3rd tonight, and he's standing by with Krista.
Yes, he is. 3rd place finisher Chris Gosselaar. Chris, I know you guys are looking at that big points picture. We're only 3 weeks in. How important important was it for you to be up here on the podium tonight?
Man, that was my main goal for tonight. I mean, I hurt my ankle really bad in practice, and I was struggling all day, so I was surprised to be up here. I gave it my all, and I couldn't have done it with my Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. The thing is awesome.
Fought through the pain. He's up here on the box.
Here's our Toyota moving forward schedule. The next upcoming Supercross races here on Speed. We're going to the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, and you can see both the Supercross and Supercross Lites action from there. Up next here on Speed, Speed News for all the latest news and highlights in the world of motorsports. It was a thrilling night here inside the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. For Chris Devoda and Denny Stevenson, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Indy, where Davi Millsaps takes the win.